let's see. Uh, let's see what. Let's learn with me, and I will expect that we will go till the end, or we will left by the end. I don't know, but we gonna start our polity reading. Okay. So firstly, let me check everything is going fine or not. Okay. So sorry for the interruption. कोई नहीं है. हाय. हाय. आप कहाँ आ रहे हैं? आपको भी पॉलिटी पढ़ना है क्या? नो गाइस. अब बाद में फिर लाइव स्ट्रीमिंग देखिए कि कितना सुंदर है. तो इधर आइए. हाँ देखिए. थैंक्स गाइस. फिर स्क्रीनशॉट ले लेंगे गाइस. ये क्या पॉलिटी में गाइस. बाय गाइस. इस गाइस से पढ़िए गाइस. कोई गाइस आएगा, कोई नहीं आएगा, हम पढ़ लेंगे सुंदर सुंदर. फिर क्या बोल रहे हो? ओके. ओके. So here we are going to study polity, and in polity we are going to start from the topic constitutional development of India. So the first subtopic of this topic is regulating act. And for your kind information, a regulating act was established in the year 1773. Okay. So in that time, Warren Hastings was made Governor General of Bengal, and along with Warren Hastings, there were four members, and you know who are they? They were Barwell, Francis, Monsoon, Clavering. These are the four members which are with the Warren Hastings. Okay, and and the governor of Bombay and Madras were made the subordinates of the Governor General of Bengal. Okay, and also in the year 1774, a Supreme Court at Fort William is opened, and the Chief Justice of that Supreme Court was Elijah MP. Okay, Elijah MP. And along with Elijah MP, there were three judges. Who are they? They were Maestre, Hyde, and Chamber. Okay, so and so let's move ahead to the next topic. We read regulating act. Okay, regulating act came in 1773, and on that time Governor General of Bengal was Warren Hastings, and along with Warren Hastings there were four members. Who were they? They were Barwell, Francis, Monsoon, Clavering. Okay, and after that the yeah, the governor of Bombay and Madras were made the subordinates of the Governor General of Bengal. And uh, at Fort William in Kolkata, a Supreme Court is opened in year 1774, and uh, the Chief Justice was Eliza Ampe. Okay, and along with Eliza Ampe, uh, there were three judges. Three judges. Who were they? They were Hyde, Magistrate, and Chamber. Yes, Chamber. Okay, and and yeah, that's it in this regulating act. And let's move ahead to the next subtopic. That is the Act of Settlement, which came in year 1781. Okay, it came in the year 1781, and this Act of Settlement is also called the uh, Declaratory Act. Okay, and this act was passed to overcome the shortcomings of regulating act. Uh, in which year came regulating act? 1773, and the regulatory act came in 1781 to do the sort to pass to overcome from the shortcomings of the regulating act. Okay, so uh, let's move ahead to the Pitt's India Pitt's India Act. And the Pitt's India Act came in the year 1784. So, in the Pitt's India Act 1784, the Board of Control was established. And you know what? The Board of Control was established to look upon the political affairs. Yeah, political affairs in India. Okay. And the Court of Directors were established under the Pitt's India Act. Okay, Court of Directors were also established under the Pitt's India Act, and in the courts of director were established to look upon the trade matters of India. Okay, and in Pitt's India Act 1784, uh, the members in councils was reduced to three from four. Okay, so let's move ahead to the next subtopic, that is the Charter Act of 1793. And you know what? The Charter Act of 1793 is the first Charter Act. Okay, and you know what? Charter Act is called authority later in the simple words. Okay, so let's move ahead. What is there in the first Charter Act? That is Charter Act of 1793. Okay, so this was the first Charter Act, as I told you, and under it, the East India Company was given the monopoly of 20 years. That they have the 20 years, they can trade in India for the 20 years. In this Charter Act, this trade monopoly of 20 years is given to the Britisher, to the East India Company, that they can trade within the 20 years. Okay, and second thing is the salaries of the members of a board of control or the court of directors were not given from the British exchequer, they were given from the Indian revenue. What is this? Huh. This does not make any sense, but it is true that the salaries were given from the Indian revenue, not from the British exchequer. It was in the first Charter Act. Okay, so what we had learned in the first Charter Act, that it established in the year 1793, and in this Charter Act, the British East India Company has the trade monopoly of 20 years. Okay, that they can trade in India for the 20 years. And the second one is about the salary, that it can be given from the Indian revenue, not from the British exchequer. Okay, So let's move ahead to the second Charter Act, that is the Charter Act of 1813. So here we are. The trade monopoly of British East India Company was abolished. Okay, in this Charter Act, it is saying that the trade monopoly of British East India Company was abolished, but except from the uh, trade with China and the trade in tea with Eastern companies. Okay, actually, they were trying to say in the second Charter Act that the trade was abolished, but except the trade with China and the trade with Eastern companies in regarding to tea, the trade of tea with the Eastern companies. Okay, so the third thing in the second Charter Act is that the Christian missionaries were allowed to engage in the religious conducts. That the Christian missionaries can engage in any religious conducts. Okay, and the fourth one is that under this act, means the Charter Act of 1813, uh, uh, there was a provision. Such provision has meant that on the Indian up to 1 lakh will be spended on their education. Okay, British will spend 1 lakh up to 1 lakh on their education of Indians. This was in the third not second Charter Act, that is 1813. Okay, let's move ahead to the third Charter Act. Third Charter Act came in 1833. Okay, so it was third Charter Act, and you can learn it like this, that 1833 double times 3 came, means this is third Charter Act. This is like easy. So in the third Charter Act, the Governor General of Bengal is came to be known as Governor General of India. Means now the Governor General of Bengal is not only the Governor General of Bengal, it is the Governor General of whole India. It not only called like Governor General of Bengal. No, it will it will call the Governor General of India. Okay, and on that time, means the 1833. In the 1833, Governor General of Bengal was uh, Lord William Bentinck. Okay, so, and the second thing is, now the trade monopoly of British East India was abolished totally. As we had saw that in the second Charter Act, it was not abolished totally, because the trade with Eastern companies regarding tea and the trade with China was there. But in the third Charter Act, the it is what, the trade monopoly is abolished totally. So, under this act, the Indians' laws were made systematic and they were codified and reformed. Means, under this act, under the Charter Act, third Charter Act, that is on the 1833, Indians' laws were made systematic and they were codified and reformed. Okay, so, and the third is that under it a law commission was formed, in which that in the third Charter Act, that is 1833. Okay, so under it a law commission was formed, and in this law commission an additional law member was appointed in the Council of Governor General. Means in the Council of Governor General, additional law member was appointed. And now the British East India Company became a mere administrative body from a governing body. Means in the third Charter Act, now when the British East India Company was like only a governing body, but now it became a mere administrative body, not only the governing body. Okay, it became mere. So let's move ahead. The third Charter Act. Third not. We had already talked about the third Charter Act. Now let's move ahead to the fourth Charter Act. That is the fourth Charter Act and the last Charter Act. Okay, that is the Charter Act of 1853. So let's talk about the Charter Act of 1853. This was the last Charter Act, and whereas in the previous three Charter Acts a time period of 20 years was given, but in this fourth Charter Act there were nothing like that was talked in this Charter Act. So the simple meaning of so the simple meaning of it was, now all the rights that have been granted from the company shall be taken back at any time, at any moment. Okay, because in this Charter Act no 20 years provision was made, so it can be taken anytime, any moment. Okay, and also under this Charter Act now the law member was made the full-fledged member in the Council of Governor General. And also in addition to this, 6 members were added as additional members in the Council of Governor General. And under this act, the function of Council of Governor General was divided into legislative and executive. And also under this act, means what act? The last Charter Act, that is the fourth Charter Act, the Charter Act of 1853. Okay, in this Charter Act also it is said that the open competition was initiated for selection and recruitment in the civil services. And you know what, in the 1864 the first ICS officer, who was the first ICS officer, that in 1864 Satyendranath Tagore cleared this exam, ICS. The full form of ICS is Imperial Civil Services. And for your kind information, Satyendranath Tagore was the elder brother of Rabindranath Tagore. Okay, and let's move ahead. The next act, that is the Government of India Act. It is came in 1858. The year 1858, Government of India Act. Okay, in this Government of India Act 1858, the rule over India come directly under the control of British Crown. It means the Britisher will control the rule over the India. Okay, so here it is written that rule over India came directly in the control of British Crown. Okay, and now all the powers of court and directors and board of control was given to the Secretary of State of India and 15 member of Indian Council. Means in this act, Government of India Act 1858, it is clearly said that the all control, all the rule has gone to the British Crown. Means Britishers will control the Indians and the Government of India. Okay, so that's why everything is transferring to the British government, like all the powers of court of directors and all the power of board of control was given to the Secretary of State of India and the 15 members of Indian Council. And also now the Governor General of India is known to be as Viceroy of India. Okay, so now the Viceroy in Calcutta. So the Viceroy of Calcutta was in the direct control of Secretary of State of India, and this Secretary of State of India was situated in the London. That's I had told you that everything has gone in the control of the British Crown. That's why the Viceroy of India will be controlled from the Secretary of State of India that is situated in the London. Okay, so and also the board of control was abolished and its president Lord Stanley was appointed as the first Secretary of State of India. Okay, means the first Secretary of a State for India. Who was? That was the Lord Stanley. So let's move ahead to the second topic, that is the Council of India Act 1861. Okay, so in this act, the process of centralization, which was initiated in the 1773, that was reversed once again. The centralization process, which has came in the year 1773, has reversed, means centralization reversed into decentralization. Okay, it means the decentralization has established. Okay, under this act, the Council of India Act 1861. Okay, and under it, once again, the legislative power were granted to the governors of Bombay and Madras. Means the governor of Bombay and Madras have the all the legislative powers. Means every legislative power will be controlled by the governor of Bombay and Madras. Okay. And also in this under this act, Lord Canning has established the portfolio system. In which year? In the year 1859. Okay. Which got affiliation under the Act of 1861. Means the Council of India Act 1861 has came in the year 1861, but the portfolio system established in the year 1859, not in the 61, but in the 59. But the affiliation of this portfolio system has given in this 1861 Act of the Council of India Act. Okay, means it is little bit confusing. I am not able to, I think, make you understand what I am trying to say, but it is clear. That is portfolio system established in year 1859, but because of the Council of India Act 1861, it got affiliation. This is as much it is simple. Okay. So the next thing was in under this act, the Council of India Act 1861, the Viceroy given to the right to issue the ordinance in emergency without the recommendation of members of his council. Means the Viceroy can issue ordinance without any recommendation of his council members. Okay, they can issue, but in which condition? In the emergency. Okay, so under this act, the Council of India Act 1861, the Viceroy was also given the power to establish new provinces and could appoint the lieutenant governor. Okay, Viceroy has the power. Okay, to issue ordinance in emergency without any recommendation of his council members. Okay, and the second one was the Viceroy has the right. Has the right, or you can say that power, that they can establish new provinces and they can make lieutenant governor also there. Appoint, made, not appoint, we can say that. And under it, the provinces of Bengal, which was established in 1862, and Northwest Frontier Province, which was established in 1886, and the Punjab and Burma, which was established in, it is for you, you can search. Okay, were established. Okay, because of how the Indian Council Act 1861, because Viceroy has the right, has the power to establish new provinces. That's why Viceroy has established. Okay, and for the first time, three Indians were nominated in the Council of Viceroy as additional members. Okay, and who were they? They were the king of Banaras, Dev Narayan Singh, and Patiala, Naresh Narendra Singh, and Dinkar Rao. These were the three members who were appointed first time as an Indian member, as additional member in the Council of Viceroy. Okay, additional member. They were the additional member in the Council of Viceroy. So now the law member kept in the Council of Viceroy as the fifth permanent member. Okay, and the number of additional members in the council was increased to 6 to 12. Okay, and in 1874 the number of permanent members was increased from 5 to 6. Okay, and the Council of India, let's talk about the Council of India Act 1892. So in this act, for the first time, the members in the Council of Viceroy were given the right to ask question on budget. Means this is the important thing, that for the first time in this the Council of India Act 1892. Okay, in the Council of India Act 1892, the first time members were given the right to ask question on budget. And now the additional member in the Council of Viceroy, it could ask questions related to the matters of public interest. And in this Council Act, the Council Act of India 1892, the parliamentary system was introduced in India. Okay, and for the first time, indirect election was introduced, but the term election was avoided. Okay, and in it the maximum number of additional member in Council of Viceroy increased to 12 to 16. Okay, let's talk about the Council Act of India, the Council of India Act. Okay, the Council of India Act 1909. And you know what, you should remember this. Why? Because this act is also known as the Marley-Minto reforms. The Council of India Act 1909, which is also called as Marley-Minto reforms. Okay, so under this, for the first time, Indian Muslims were provided separate electorate system, in which 37 official members was there and 32 non-official members was there. Okay, now the number of permanent member was increased to 9 and the number of additional member was increased to 60. Okay, and in which official were 37 and non-official were 32. Okay, so and in this 1909 act, the local bodies member chooses provincial legislature member. Okay, member chooses provincial legislature member, and provincial legislature members chooses elected member of Council of Viceroy. It is quite a bit, I think, confusing, but if you will learn it or read it again and again, it will be more clear. Okay, so let's have the second line, that is, thus for the first time indirect election was introduced in British India. Means in this act 1909 act, for the first time indirect election system was introduced. Okay, and now the members in Council of Viceroy could ask the supplementary question along with the original question. So in the Council of India Act 1909, the council members can ask question along with supplementary question. Okay, they can ask some supplementary question along with the original question. For the first time, an Indian, Satyendra Prasan Sinha, was appointed as permanent member in the Council of Viceroy. Means for the first time in the Council of Viceroy, an Indian was appointed as the permanent member. That who was whose name is Satyendra Prasan Sinha. Okay, and he was the law member. Before it, he was the law member. Okay, let's talk about the Government of India Act 1990. Okay, the Government of India Act 1919. Okay, so this 1919 Government of India Act is known as Montagu Chelmsford Reforms. And we should remember also that the Government of India Act 1909 was known as Marley Minto Reforms, and this is 1919. This is known as Montagu Chelmsford Reforms. Okay, so now the Council of Viceroy. Under this act, now the Council of Viceroy was bifurcated into bicameral legislature. Okay, what does it mean? Bicameral legislature mean Viceroy was divided its power in Council of States and Central Legislative Assembly. Okay, so Council of States was referred as upper house and Central Legislative Assembly was referred to as lower house. And in the Council of States, this in the upper house, there were 60 members in which 34 were elected and 26 were nominated. And it was the tenure was 5 years. And in the lower house, that means Central Legislative Assembly, there were 145 members, in which 104 were elected and 41 were nominated. Okay, and also the tenure was 3 years. So now in this act, 1919 act, the 3 Indian members now essentially to be nominated. Means 3 Indian members should be there, should be nominated. Okay, and a new post of High Commission of India also organized in this act. Okay, new post of High Commission of India means in which examination, through which examination? ICS, Imperial Civil Services. Okay, let's move ahead. So because of this ICS examination, the first ICS was William Stevenson Mayer. He was the first ICS, and the second ICS was D.M. Dalal, which he was Indian. Okay, D.M. Dalal. He was second ICS, but from the Indian point of view, yeah, he can be the second one. Okay. So in this 1990 Act, the Government of India Act 1919, which is also known as Montagu Chelmsford Reforms, in this direct election system was introduced in India under this act. Okay, and it was only in 1923 that Indian women got total adult suffrage in the princely estate of Rajkot, and in 1927 Madhya Pradesh, and in 1929 Bihar and Orissa. Okay, and now the separate electorate was extended to the Sikh, the Christian, the Anglo-Indians, and the Europeans. Okay, and dual form of governance, or we can say that diarchy, was introduced in the provinces. In the provinces, it means in the 8 provinces. 8, okay? In the 8 provinces, the dual form of governance, means diarchy, was introduced. Under it, for the first time, the budget for provinces were separated from the central budget. And we are talking all these things in the Government of India Act 1919, that was known as Montagu Chelmsford reforms. Okay, so here we have talked that under it for the first time, the budget of provinces were separated from the central budget. Okay, for the provinces, budget were separated from which? From the central budget. Now, the dual system of governance diarchy was introduced in the provinces. Okay, so the viceroy means there were diarchy, the council of states, the central legislative assembly. So the viceroy, or we can say that the governor general, will look upon the defense matter, foreign affairs, railways, communication, these type of things they will work upon, or they will take responsibility, or they will see all those things functioning. Okay, and in this, in the provinces, the governors, there were 51 subjects or items, in which 29 were reserved and 22 were transferred. Okay, and 22 were transferred. They include the topic education, health, agriculture, and diarchy was introduced in the provinces on 1st of April 1921. Diarchy was introduced in the provinces on the 1st April 1921. Diarchy introduced in Northwest Frontier Province in 1932. Under this, and diarchy remained in the provinces till 1937. Under this act, a public service commission was established in the year 1926. It means in the Montagu Chelmsford reforms, means that is Government of India Act 1919. Under it, a public service commission was established. Okay, and this establishment of public service commission was the recommendation of Lee Commission, and ICS exam, means Indian Civil Services, was happened in 1992, 1922, 1922 in Allahabad, and in 1923 in Delhi. Okay, so let's move ahead. The Government of India Act 1935. So this act, the Government of India Act 1935, was the largest act in the world till 1999 since its introduction. Okay, it was the largest one, but this record was break by the London Great London Act 1909. Okay, so in this act there were 11 parts, 321 sections, and 10 schedules in it. So this was implemented from 1st of April 1937, and in this act it was like there shall be a confederation which shall be formed by including British Indian province and princely estates in it. Okay, so there were also the Government of Burma Act, in which there were 159 section and 6 schedule. Okay, here is, if a confederation will not there, should be not there, upper house have 260 members and central legislative assembly has 375 members. Okay, and if we talk about the provincial autonomy, then diarchy in the provinces was abolished, and introduction of diarchy in the center has came, and 3 lists of subjects were federal list, provincial list, and concurrent list. In federal list there were 59 subjects, in provincial list there were 54 subjects, and in current list there were 36 subjects. So under this act, means under the Government of India Act 1919, which is also known as Montagu Chelmsford reforms, Under this act, bicameral legislature was established in six British provinces, and the six British provinces were Bengal, Bombay, Madras, UP, Bihar, Assam, out of 11. Okay, a federal court of India was established under the Act of 1935, and it started working from 1937. And under this act, RBI Act 1934 has also come, but it was under the Act of 1935 that it was provided totality, means the Act of 1935 has provided totality to the RBI Act of 1934. Okay, and the name of the Public Service Commission, which was established in 1926, was changed to the name Federal Public Commission, FPSC. Okay, so also the Public Service Commission, PSC, changed into FPSC. Federal has connected. Okay, connected, not added. And in this act of 1935, Burma and Adan were separated from the government of India. Okay, and since separated from Bombay and Odisha from Bihar. Okay, and this separation happened in the act of 1935. Okay, so let's move to the next topic. That is the most interesting topic according to me, and I love this topic. That is the Act of Indian Independence 1947. Okay, so in this, uh, the Act of Indian Independence 1947, many things has happened for our independence process. That is, in this, the bill was kept before the British Parliament on 4th July 1947, and it got passed on 18th July 1947. And you know what? Lord Mountbatten became the first Governor General of India. Independence India. Who was the first Governor General of Independence India? Then it was no other than Lord Mountbatten. Okay, so let's have a look who all those first members uh, that were made in the after independence of India. Okay, so Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru became the first Prime Minister of Independence India, and also uh, he was made the minister relating to common welfare, and also the minister to the scientific research, and also the foreign minister of Independence India. Okay, and let's have a look about Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. He made the first Home Minister of Independence India, and also the Information and Broadcasting Minister, and also the Deputy PM. This Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Okay, and let's talk about R.K. Shanmugam Sethi. So R.K. Shanmugam Sethi became the first Finance Minister of Independence India. Okay, and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was made the first Law Minister of Independence India, and Sardar Baldev Singh became the uh, Baldev first Defense Minister of Independence India, and John Mathai became the first Railway and Transportation Minister of Independence India. Okay, Maulana Abul Kalam Azad became the first Education Minister of Independence India, and C.H. Bhava. C.H. Bhava became the first Commerce Minister of Independence India, And Dr. Prasad became the first food and agriculture minister of independence India. And, and Dr. Syama Prasad Mukherjee became the first industry and supply minister of independence India. And Babu Jagjeevan Ram became the first labor minister of independence India. And Rajkumari Amrit Kaur became the health minister, first health minister of independence India. And Rafi Ahmad Kidwai became the first minister of communication minister of independence India. And Vishnu Narhari Gadge became the first works mining and energy minister of independence India. And KC Yogi became the first relief and rehabilitation minister of independence India. Okay, I am just checking out. Hmm. So I think I should finish. Okay, I should finish here, and I will be back for the next topic. That will be the next thing related to the polity, and I am just reading all these things in sequential way. So that's why all acts has completed, and now we will move ahead the making of the constitution. But I think in the next video, okay, for bye for now. No, 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 not bye for now. It is only 47 minutes, not hour, not 2 hour, not 3 hour, only 47 minutes, and now I got tired. No, no, no. So let's move ahead. So let's have a look. Making of the constitution. So we can say that constitution is a supreme law in the form of written document. Okay. Constitution is a supreme law in the form of written document. And for the first time in 1934, it was Manvendra Nath Roy who kept forward the idea of a constituent assembly. Okay, and it was in 1935 that was for the first time Indian National Congress officially demanded to form a constituent assembly for Indians. Okay, okay, and in 1942, Cripps Mission said to form a constituent assembly. Okay, that was during the post World War II, and as per recommendation of cabinet mission, In 1946, elections were held in July 1946 to form a constituent assembly. The number of seats in the constituent assembly was fixed at 389. Okay, and in which elections were held for 296 seats, out of which Congress have 208 seats and Muslim have 73 seats, and the other candidates won 15 seats. Okay, election were held for 296 seats. Okay, in which 208 seats won by Congress and 73 seats won by Muslims, and other candidates won 15 seats. That's it. And let's have a look. In 296 seats, 79 seats were reserved for Muslims and 4 seats reserved for Sikh. Okay. And the number of women in the Constituent Assembly was 50, and every seat represents the population of 10 lakhs. And the first meeting of Constituent Assembly was held on 9 December 1946. Okay, so in which its senior most member Dr. Sachidanand Sinha was elected as temporary president or chairman. On 11th December 1946, Dr. Rajendra Prasad was elected as first permanent president of the Constituent Assembly. Okay, and Harendra Kumar Mukherjee was elected as vice president, or we can say that deputy chairman in the Constituent Assembly, and Sir B.N. Ram was appointed as the legal advisor. Okay, and you know what? Muslim League has boycotted the Constituent Assembly, and they were saying that they are demanding or they are asking for a separate nation, Pakistan, for themselves. They are. It means they are not happy for the Constituent Assembly. They are demanding their own separate Constituent Assembly. Okay, so on 13 December 1946, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru kept the objective resolution before the Constituent Assembly that the Muslim League are boycotting them. Okay, so on 22nd January 1947, the Constituent Assembly appointed several major committees and subcommittees to carry forward its activities. Okay, so here they are. 8 major committees were there. The committee to negotiate with the states. So its chairman was Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, and Union Constitution Committee was also established, and again its chairman was Nehru, and Union Powers Committee, Nehru was the chairman, and Provincial Constitution Committee, Sardar Patel was the chairman, and for the draft committee, chairman was Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, and for the steering committee, the chairman was Dr. Rajendra Prasad, and committee on rules and procedures, the chairman was Dr. Rajendra Prasad, and for the advisory committee on fundamental rights and minorities, the chairman was Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Okay, and in this also advisory committee of fundamental rights, there were divided into 2 categories of committee. That was fundamental rights for the subcommittee, whose chairman was Acharya J.B. Kriplan. Okay, and minorities for the subcommittee for the minorities, its chairman was H.C. Mukherjee. Okay, and let's talk about the minor committee. So, in the minor committee, there were two committees, that is ad hoc committee on national flag, and its chairman was Dr. Rajendra Prasad, and there were second one is House committee, and its chairman was Patabi Sitaramaiah. Okay, and on 29 of August 1947, draft committee was formed to discuss over the draft of the constitution, which was made ready by the legal advisor Sir B.N. B.N. Ram, and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was elected as a chairman of draft committee. Okay, and it has six other members. That was Sayyid Muhammad Sadullah and Iyengar and Aladi Krishna Swami Iyer, Kanhaiya Lal, Manik Lal Munshi, and Madhav Rao. And previously, in the place of N. Madhav Rao, it was B.L. Mitra. And the sixth one is T.T. Krishna Muchari, and previously it was D.P. Khetan. Okay, so let's have Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was elected in the Constituent Assembly for the first time from Bengal in 1946 to 1947, and secondly, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was elected in Constituent Assembly from Bengal in 1947 to 50, when the country was divided according to the Mountbatten Plan of 31st June 1947. It means the country was divided according to the Mountbatten Plan. Okay. The total number of members of Indian Constituent Assembly was fixed at 324, out of which 235 seats were allocated to the provinces and the rest 89 were for the princely estates. It was on this day that a separate constituent assembly was formed for Pakistan. So, according to Mountbatten Plan, India was divided. Okay, and there were a separate constituent assembly for the Pakistan has made. After the partition of the country, our constituent assembly was reorganized. Okay, when partition has happened, our country has reorganized themselves. Means the constituent assembly has reorganized, and hence the total number of members of constituent assembly became 299 in December 1947. Okay, out of this 299 were members from the provinces and were the members from the princely estates. Okay, and out of this 299 were members from, okay, the drafting committee has 6 members, 1 plus 6 plus 1 additional member, and it was made in 29 August 1947, and it has worked till 21 Feb 1948, and after that it handed over after that the drafting committee handed over itself to the constituent assembly, and after that constituent First reading was made in the 1948 from 4 November to 9 November. It was the duration of 6 days. Okay, and the second reading was made happen in the 1949 from the 15 November to 17 October. It was 11 months. And third reading was made possible in the 1949 in the 14 November to the 26 November. It was the duration of 13 days. And after that, 284 member sign has taken, and it ends on the 26th November. And uh, now we can say finally that our constitution is adopted. So, if we talk about the total time to form our constitution, then it starts to making on the December 1946, and it complete in 26 November 1949. So we can say that it takes the time to complete 2 year, 11 months, 18 days. Okay. In these 2 years, 18 months, 18 days, the working days were only 165. And from the 165 days, uh, they had only discussed 114 days. They did discussion on the drafting committee. Okay, means considering draft. Okay, and they had read 60 countries constitution, and expenditure were 64 lakhs, and session were 11 session, and constitution day is celebrated on finally 26 November 1949, and Republic Day is 26 Jan 1950. And 26 Jan 26 November 1949, on the day of Constitution Day, Article 394, that is second last article, came into action on this day and releases 15 articles, and the those articles were 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 5 to 9, the article 5 to 9 were discussed about the citizenship, and 60, 324, 366, 367, 372, 380, and 388, 391, 392, 393 were releases. These were the 15 articles. And the last meeting of Constituent Assembly was happened on 12th session, that was on 24 January 1950. First meeting of Constituent Assembly happened in 9 December, and in 11th session 379 articles imposed. On 26 Jan 1950. In the 12th session, 16 articles imposed on the date 26 November 1949. So here we are that total parts in our constitution were 22, and total articles were 395, and total schedules were 8. So we can now say goodbye. We will came again with the next part. So bye. We will talk in the next video about the schedules in the constitution. we will talk about this in later. So bye bye. We will meet soon.